Navajo Bridge is in fact two bridges connecting the two cliff faces of Marble Canyon over the Colorado River. The second bridge to be constructed is on the left. It was opened in 1995. It carries traffic on Route 89A over Marble Canyon. The first bridge served the area well for 66 years, but as cars and trucks became larger, wider and heavier, the need for a stronger bridge became evident. The historic first bridge is still open for foot traffic, providing visitors with a breathtaking view of the Colorado River 467 feet below. There is a modern rest area and visitor center on the right bank of Marble Canyon. The Navajo are renowned artists, and they are talented jewelry makers and are extremely proficient in doing so. They sell their wares on simple roadside stands, which are always equipped with mobile phones and credit card facilities. The Navajo, or Dinar as they call themselves, began working silver in the 19th century. An anthropologist studying these indigenous people said, "Belts and necklaces of silver are their pride and joy. They are so skillful and patient in hammering and shaping that an excellent teaspoon can be made out of a silver dollar without melting and casting." Navajo homes are known as hogans. These are the traditional dwelling of the Navajo people. Other traditional structures include the summer shelter, the underground home, and the sweat house. A hogan can be round, cone-shaped, multi-sided or square, with or without internal posts, and with the doors always facing east to welcome the rising sun. Today, some older hogans are still used as dwellings and others are maintained for ceremonial purposes, but new hogans are rarely intended as family dwellings. The Navajo Nation has more than 300,000 tribal members. They have the largest reservation in America by far. Their homelands straddle the vast Four Corners region, covering more than 27,000 square miles of land in Arizona, Utah, and New Mexico. Canyon de Chelly is one of the longest continuously inhabited sites in North America. The site preserves the ruins of the indigenous tribes that lived in the area from the ancient Anasazi to the current occupants, the Navajo. The history of people in the canyon goes back thousands of years. There are numerous remains of their dwellings. A tour of the canyon floor with a Navajo guide is the only way to see some of these dwellings and their wonderful rock art. There are also countless pictographs and petroglyphs in Canyon de Chelly. Historically, the Navajo were treated dreadfully by invading forces. In 1863, Colonel Kit Carson sent troops through the canyon, killing 23 Indians, seizing 200 sheep, and destroying hogans as well as peach orchards and other crops. The resulting demoralization led to the surrender of the Navajo and their removal to a reservation in Bosque Redondo, New Mexico. One Navajo said of the long enforced walk, "If there was room, the soldiers put the women and children on the wagons. Some even let them ride behind them on their horses. I have never been able to understand a people who killed you one day and on the next day played with your children." It was soon realized that Bosque Redondo was a failure, as it had poor water and too little firewood for the number of people who were living there. In May 1868, the Navajo were permitted to return to their native lands. Window Rock is home to the museum and memorial to the Navajo code talkers. During World War II, America suffered huge losses because the Japanese were able to understand their radio transmissions. The story of the Navajo code talkers began in 1940 when a small group of them became part of the Radio Communications 32nd Infantry Division. The complexity of the Navajo language made it an ideal choice to be used in sending coded messages. Navajo males between the age of 17 and 32 were recruited, some leaving their native land for the first time to travel overseas on the front lines. The Navajo Code Talkers took part in every assault the US Marines conducted in the Pacific from 1942 to 1945. They served in all 6 Marine divisions, transmitting messages by telephone and radio in their native language, a code that the Japanese never broke. After the ending of the war and returning to the United States, the existence of the Navajo Code Talker program was kept a secret for decades more. At the end of the war, the Navajo Code remained unbroken.